Now, Gerald, I know you have great personal experience with lysergic acid. What do you think of it?
To do that in 2 minutes, eternity in an hour, it's almost impossible, of course, as all the patients say, to describe it. You can only say, it isn't, it isn't, it isn't, trying to tell people what it is. Well, of course, I don't know any of our friends, Sid, that have taken it but haven't said this one thing in common. Well, I never knew anything like that in the whole of my life. And 1 or 2 people have said to me, I've said it to myself, that's what death is going to be like. And oh, what fun it will be.
How do you mean that?
Well, I mean that there are the colors and the beauties, the designs, the beautiful way things appear. People themselves, dull people that I thought dull, appear fascinating, interesting, mysterious, wonderful. But that's only the beginning. A man was saying it this afternoon who was taking it. Suddenly you notice that there aren't these separations, that we're not on a separate island shouting across to somebody else and trying to hear what they're saying and misunderstanding them. You know, you use the word yourself, empathy. This thing's flowing underneath. We're parts of a single continent. It meets underneath the water. And with that goes such delight, the sober certainty of waking bliss.
I associate this control issue with the boundary dissolution. The boundary dissolution is alarming to the ego. It doesn't like that feeling, and it tells you that you're dying. And psychedelic voyagers have to learn to just, when that red switch goes on, you just reach out and turn it off and say, oh no, it's set wrong, we're not dying. But it tells you that you're dying because the ego very strongly identifies with the equilibrium of the physical body. And as the physical body begins to slide into the intoxication, the ego is saying, what's happening here? Wait a minute, I'm losing coherency. This is not good. You made a mistake, Joe. We need help, Joe. It's coming upon. You say, chill. It's going to be all right. And so you have to discipline yourself that way. The dissolving of the ego, that is the dissolving of this maladaptive behavior pattern that has made our sexual and social politics so complicated. In other words, the ego is not a good thing. Its existence in each one of us in so expressed a form is a symptom of neurosis, a cultural neurosis. And the psychedelic dissolves the ego, but the ego protests noisily while this is going on. And then people who are very ego dependent, if they have a psychedelic experience, they usually only have one, and then they say, well, that was like going nuts. I hated it. I just hated it. It was awful, because they are very strongly identified with the ego. Another person who isn't so strongly identified with the ego could look at the identical experience and say it was a wonderful liberation. It was just the quintessence of freedom and light and openness. So when I say we are pathological and that we need to take strong medicine to fix ourselves, I don't mean the kind of medicine where you can't feel it working. I mean the kind of medicine where you can feel it working.